Welcome everyone to another episode of Camo's Mirror. I'm your host, Camo, and today I'm thrilled to have you here with us as we take a closer look at ourselves and the world around us. Here on Camo's Mirror, we explore ideas that encourage us to reflect, grow, and understand ourselves better. Before we dive in, I want to remind you that this podcast is intended for educational and informational purposes only. If you need personalized advice, please consult a certified professional. The title of today's topic is Turning Pressure into Progress. Today, we're diving into the ways in which the pressures we face can actually become a catalyst for our greatest progress. We'll share some strategies to help you transform those moments of intense challenge into opportunities for real growth. And with me, I have a brilliant guest, Shulamith, who's a true expert in this field. Welcome, Shulamith.
Thank you, Camo. It's such a pleasure to be here today, and I love this topic. I think it's so important for us to not just fear the pressures in our lives, but to recognize how they can push us to be better versions of ourselves.
Absolutely, Shulamith. So to kick things off, I want to talk about why pressure tends to feel so overwhelming. Many people think of pressure as a force that breaks us down, but there's also another perspective, that it's a force that shapes us, like coal turning into diamonds. What are your thoughts on this?
That's a great analogy, Camo. Pressure is uncomfortable, but it's also transformative. Think about it. When we're under pressure, we're often pushed out of our comfort zones, and that discomfort is really where growth happens. One thing I've observed is that people who learn to harness that feeling, that tightness, that stress, are often the ones who end up making incredible progress. They don't let pressure paralyze them. Instead, they ask themselves, what can I learn here? How can I adapt? It's about resilience, and also about embracing a mindset of opportunity. In the song, It's All Right, the great Stephen Marley said something along the lines of, I've come to learn that pain teaches more than it hurts.
That's powerful, Shulamith. It makes me think about those moments when we're facing something really challenging, and instead of backing away, we lean into it. Are there any particular strategies that you recommend for transforming pressure into progress?
Absolutely. One of the most effective strategies is reframing. When you're feeling overwhelmed, take a step back and reframe the situation. Instead of seeing the pressure as an insurmountable problem, try to view it as a challenge, something that, once overcome, will make you stronger. I'll give you an example without mentioning any names. A high-level executive faced immense pressure to turn around a failing department. Instead of seeing it as a career-ending crisis, this person chose to see it as an opportunity to innovate. By embracing the challenge and reframing the stress, they found creative solutions and ultimately led the team to success. Another important strategy is breaking the challenge into smaller, actionable steps. When we face pressure, it often feels overwhelming because we're looking at the whole mountain we have to climb. Instead, focus on just the next step. What is the one thing you can do right now to move forward? Taking it piece by piece can make the whole situation feel a lot more manageable and a lot less daunting.
I love that. Reframing and breaking it down. It's so easy to feel lost in the enormity of pressure, but when you take it one step at a time, it becomes much more doable. And I know that you've worked with a lot of individuals who've turned pressure into some of their biggest wins. Could you share another example of how someone turned a difficult situation into progress?
Of course. I think another good example is from someone who was facing a personal crisis, let's say financial stress. This person decided to look at the situation as a wake-up call to learn financial discipline. They took the pressure they were feeling and channeled it into educating themselves, learning about budgeting, investing, and ultimately creating a financial plan that not only resolved their immediate problem, but also set them up for long-term security. It's a perfect illustration of how pressure, when approached with a mindset of growth, can completely change our trajectory.
That's incredibly insightful, Shulamith. It's almost like the pressure we face can be seen as an invitation to grow, to learn, to adapt. I think it's crucial for all of us to realize that those moments of feeling overwhelmed aren't the end of the story. They're the beginning of something that could be really powerful if we choose to respond in the right way.
Exactly, Camo. And I think the key takeaway here is that pressure isn't inherently negative. It's neutral. It's our response to it that determines whether it breaks us down or builds us up. When we see pressure as a chance to prove something to ourselves, to overcome something we didn't think we could, that's when real progress happens. And it's worth mentioning that it's okay to seek support when you need it. Friends, mentors, or even professional help can make a big difference in how you navigate through challenging times.
Absolutely. And that's something I want our listeners to really take to heart. You're not alone in this. Pressure can be shared, and it doesn't have to be faced entirely by yourself. Shulamith, thank you so much for sharing your wisdom today. This has been such a valuable conversation.
Thank you, Camo. It's been a pleasure, and I hope our listeners find these insights helpful.
I'm sure they will. And for all of you tuning in, thank you for listening to Camo's Mirror. If you enjoyed this episode, please subscribe, like and share, and leave us a comment. We love hearing from you. Until next time, keep looking in the mirror, keep growing, and remember, pressure can lead to progress. Take care, everyone.